I don't like 20 is like some people like getting married and having kids at 20
United
is not
States,
like
that is.
that's not like a head.
So he was
turning
arguing for 16-year-olds to get married.
Yeah, that's dude.
That would
he's
not
on
be a
point.
better society. These are like, I feel like you conflated the issue by being like, your grandma had a kid at 20, so this is cool. No, he is arguing right now, in 2024, that 16-year-olds should be able to get married in his state.
I think it should.
Because 16-year-olds are ripe and fertile.
They are
To
ripe
who?
and fertile.
It didn't say to who in the article I saw. To men, I
Older
assume?
men, you would hope.
Other people.
Well, you wouldn't want two 16-year-olds getting married, or a 16-year-old and a 20-year-old married. But if you had like a 30-year-old man and a 16-year-old, that makes a lot of sense. That'd be a happy marriage where you have.
Oh yeah, I'm
18
sure that
children,
marriage is going to work out great. And that girl is not.
Why wouldn't it?
Subservient because
Dude, yeah,
she's 16. She's stupid. She's a child, and she's not at all ready to be married.
So
and make
she should go out and get
decisions
ran
like
through
that.
for the next 10 years.
You guys have argued that you can't take out a student loan at 18 years old.
I have.
But now you're arguing that you can have a 16-year-old getting married to some guy in his 30s.
I mean, our grandfathers fought World War II at 16 years old. Some of them.
I don't think
get it.
if that's true. All right, this is obvious. You're trying to get it.
What are you
Trying
talking
to get
about?
my goat.
Which part? I don't know. Is there a
the-
piece of what I said that you don't care for or think is not accurate?
I think that 16-year-olds shouldn't be getting married, and I think you think 16-year-olds shouldn't be getting married.
Why do you think 16-year-olds shouldn't get married? What is the alternative?
Because it is too young to make a
What's not
lifelong
too young?
decision like that.
You married it.
18 is a thing. I married at 23 or 4, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Which
do
is pretty young.
you don't like the 16
But you
age,
kind
or
of
you don't like
decided
the
that you were going to
potential?
get married for a while. If you were financially secure at 19, you'd have probably went ahead and pulled the trigger.
Absolutely not. I was financially secure at 19.
Really?
Pretty
you
much.
working-
I worked for my father as a junior accountant, and I lived on my own. So
Okay.
you
But
know,
not
I
ready to
supported
raise a
myself.
family.
I could afford to support myself. I couldn't afford to support a family.
I'm
at that
suggesting
age.
that you're when I say financially secure, I don't mean surviving. That's bare minimum. I mean like, what am I going to do with all this extra money? Buy a
Well,
second
let's do
car? What am I
this.
going to do with it?
There was I said, like, one of my requirements for Jackie to get married is what happened was when I hit the working world and I sort of grew up and discovered my ambition and changed a bit. So I was like, Jackie, I want you to grow up to get a grown up job. She was an admin assistant in some parts sales company.
Mhm.
And just want to make sure that, like, if you change like I did, that I still like that new version of you. So she grew up, she got a grown up job with health insurance. And then after like 9 months of that, I proposed.
Yeah. I think it would be better off for
So-
society for sure if 16-year-olds were getting married.
If
I think
people
it-
were having kids younger, it would objectively be better for society.
Not just that, not just because they're getting married younger, just because they're not, doing whatever people do in their early 20s instead of making a family and getting their life going and moving forward now.
There is a
What are we
culture of,
waiting
like,
for?
extended adolescence now, where it's like, I'm only 29, I'm just a kid, and it's like, no, like in eons past, like you'd already have like children, you'd like be in the middle.
Yeah,
of
no
raising
one's.
them.
And it's funny you said we had kids earlier. It's like, well, I could probably get on board with that
Yeah,
because
for
a lot
sure.
of people are waiting into their 30s. But we're conflating this issue of 16-year-olds having children having children. This is wrong.
You don't
This
like
isn't a fit
the
because in today's society,
Why is it wrong, though?
we're not Native Americans where at 16 years old, you kind of knew everything you needed to know to like survive and chase down buffalo. Nowadays, it takes training and education into your 20s to be able to to navigate today's
And
society.
who better to give you that than the man that
than
loves
your
you, that-
adult husband?
your adult husband? Yeah.
This
Like,
is
what-
this is
what were you
Kyle
gonna
coming
do?
out
This
as
is
a,
Kyle has left the Church of Kyle. I don't know who runs that thing.
Oh,
now,
I'm not doing
but
it,
Now
no.
he's
No, no.
suggesting that she
Oh,
get
no.
married at 16
Just so
years
this
old.
is
and have
Kyle
kids
coming out as
earlier.
Muslim, Woody.
I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm playing devil's advocate for Western society. I'll
You
tell
have
you what Kyle
absolutely. I
wants.
call
Kyle
saying
wants
you
to
don't
keep
actually
those
these
dumb
things.
20-year-olds and
And-
22-year-olds.
And you're like,
They've
no, I
got
do
plenty
believe
of
this.
time. Kyle
Now you don't
loves that
believe it
system.
because I mentioned the Church of Kyle.
No. You didn't listen. Kyle is advocating for society when he says those things about 16-year-olds. If I advocate for Kyle, I say, ho, plenty of time, girls. Run wild in the
Yeah.
streets. Hey, you don't know what you like yet. And who's a man to tell you? Get out there and pop that 22-year-old girls.
Mhm.
Oh, for sure. That's my
now we're
that's my
now we're
take.
seeing eye to eye, Kyle.
Yeah, but then that nobody might want you because you're a ran through piece of garbage after a few Kyles have had their hands on you, right?
That is a risk. That is a risk.
Would you want to marry a lady, Taylor, who 8 Kyles had their hands on?
8 Kyles?
8 Kyles
No.
in 8 years.
No, probably not.
No, nobody would.
I
Nobody
don't think
would.
so.
Unless you've already got herpes.
I was gonna make a joke about that, and I was like, "This is a good opportunity for you to be."
Oh, it's coming. Don't worry.
Just a
No,
pill
I
fix, right?
I just, I think if you ask people what their goals are, sometimes, like people ask me, "Hey, what for advice on something?" I'll say, "Well, what are your goals?" And you'll find out what their goals are. And it's like, "Whoa, what's a good thing you told me what the goals were, because that completely changes the advice." If your goal is to, have a traditional marriage, I think what I said stands. But if your goal is to have some sort of modern marriage where we're going to have 2 incomes and then we're going to let strangers raise our children who may or may not, diddle them and ruin them for the rest of their lives, or something like that.
Yeah.
Then
You could almost-
girl power.
You could say that, like, the fact that 2 18-year-olds getting married and like having kids young isn't a possibility because of financial pressures and home ownership and low income and job, whatever the case may be. That's more of an indictment on society than on 2 18, like as if 2 18-year-olds having kids is wrong. Like that, it's been normal to like.
It's not
have kids
biologically
young.
wrong, but I feel like as society advances, it takes longer to get the societal training to thrive in it, right? If you back up, like I said, 400 years to where we're like Native American Indians chopping down trees and making teepees, then you don't have to go to a university and get a good job and get health insurance and all that.
I don't think we got to go that far, frankly.
Well, I kind of made it extreme to
Especially for
prove my
women.
point.
Yeah.
Right. All you need to do is be hot and spread your legs.
You just would
No,
need
I
to
just
be
mean you don't
young.
have to go that
You would
far
need to
to-
be able to have
where
single
what I'm-
income households.
I'm sorry, Taylor. I didn't hear your words.
I was saying you'd need to be able to have single income households again, where you could like have a job that didn't require a boondoggle university degree that a lot of people get just to have the degree. They don't use anything from it. And if you could, if in 1940, if you're a fucking mailman at 19 and your 18-year-old wife is pregnant, it's like they were going to be fine.
Still,
Like, they
mailman's
can
still a
support
pretty good
that.
job. You get
Yeah.
benefits. And
I just picked a job
C5.
off the top out of a hat that you
I
just
hate it when that
applied for.
happens. Like
Yeah.
but like
I read
if
it starts at
you're
like $65K a year or something. And it's like, dude, you're delivering mail for 4 or 5 hours a day,
mailman,
riding
trash
around.
man, policeman, fireman. All these jobs still have like professional pay.
Waiting too long for kids and
I
high
don't know.
levels of childlessness are bad.
Which one did I
The
get?
fireman thing's interesting because it's
Okay.
such a weird
Oh.
work schedule, and there's so much of it that you're just chilling. Which I bet when you're chilling, side hustles are rampant. It's like, yeah, we're in the firehouse building tree houses that we sell to this, or we're in the firehouse running our like pyramid scheme or whatever.
My
like
father-in-law was a fireman, and their schedule was like 3 days on, 3 days off, 2 days on, 3 days off. It wasn't that; it was about that. And it's like, how many days a week is that? It's like 3 days a week. They were long shifts, but I think they tended to work like 36 hours a week, and many of them were spent sleeping. And most of his coworkers had side hustles, gigs, handymen, car repairmen, etc. My father-in-law didn't, and I know that he caught a lot of heat around the house for just enjoying his light schedule.
I know that small town cops get paid nothing. I know that if you're in the NYPD, you have a secure career. I don't know what the middle ground is, though, like the average. If you're just a state patrolman here in Georgia, for example, like those guys that were clearing out the commies at Emory University the other day. I don't know what that guy makes. About 50, Zach's saying. That checks, I suppose. I know, but like I said, in my small town, I had
60 to 100, according to Glassdoor. I don't know.
Fucking-
There's a big gap.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's a big gap. Probably you start around 60 and you get to around 100.
Yeah.
I
I don't know.
You retire.
They were getting nothing in my small town. And they had, I just remember my buddy was, it was like $14 an hour or something, and then he was responsible for like washing and the upkeep of his car, like his bumpers hanging off on his patrol vehicle. And he's the one that needs to get it fixed if it's going to get fixed, shit like that.
Some of those jobs, though, you never get fired. And I feel like that should be
Teacher.
priced into it. Teacher, cop, fireman. I don't know
Anything
anyone
with a
who
union,
gets
though,
fired
right?
From these jobs,
Yeah.
basically.
One of the
I
reasons
think.
I'm so anti-union is I've seen like what it does to the teaching in particular. And it's like, there are people here who need to be fired.
And
for sure.
teachers are asking for more money. Really? Name it. Woody, if you were an accountant at a firm and you just every quarter you're handing in information that's not only inaccurate but damaging to the company, and then you take summers off, and then you're like, I deserve more money. So like, get out of here. The numbers you're giving us are so baffling. Like we can't.
It's
even
so
make
tricky
conclusions.
to measure teachers, right? So like on one hand, I do wish they didn't have job security and that they had to perform like everyone in the private sector does. So we're on the same team there. On the other hand, if I measured dentists by how good their patients' teeth were, I think you could poke a lot of holes in that, right? Some guy in freaking Chapel Hill, North Carolina would look like a star, right? This is one of the highest like advanced degrees in
I think it should be worse than firing.
some guy in West Virginia would look like a terrible
Serious?
dentist. But is it really the dentist keeping the teeth clean? No.
So I think they should come in.
I mean, yeah, there are dumb kids. Who
I think they should come in and test a graduating class. A third party should. And if these people who high school was about to graduate, it's already here's his diploma, got it printed out, huh? If they're not up to snuff in specific areas, it seems to me that high school's committed fraud. It seems to me they have defrauded the child and defrauded the world that they're throwing the child into. That seems like some sort of criminal negligence. If you're about to make it firefighter training all of a sudden, and you come in and check and like, all right, everybody put your masks on. And like half of them, and one of them's like, I can't read. I don't know what a mask is. He's like, well, you guys were about to graduate firefighter training. You're going to go into a burning house next week, maybe. And they're negligent. They go to jail. I think it's the same thing for a high school teacher. They graduated me. You graduated a lot of people that
I should have been
Senior
fired for
graduate.
that. Yeah.
But and like I don't.
But it still
call
holds
racism
true that
because
so
you
much
know.
of it is based on like the house and the parents. It's huge.
Yeah. I mean, there are kids who are dumb and they're never going to learn no matter what teachers they have. But there has to be a better way to gauge teachers than
I
just
just saw a
like
school board meeting
them
where the
protesting.
teacher was spending three days a week on gender studies. It was third grade.
That's wild.
It's
Yeah.
third grade. She said they're 8 years old and 60% of their time is spent on sexuality. Why are we even saying sexuality in front of them? Are they all making A's in math and geography and English?
That's incredible. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
She's
I
like,
want,
so we as a parent group went to that teacher. You know what she did? Through subterfuge, she went around our back and continued to teach 3 days a week sexuality
Yeah.
studies. to
there are
our
whole like
8-year-olds.
movements within teacher unions that are like, keep parents out of the classroom. We're the professional teachers. Don't let them know what we're up to. Like I have a friend who's on a school board because he has young kids who are school age, and he has like showed me like books they have in their library where he's like, dude, I never thought I would be this guy that goes to, and is like on the school board now, but they're like got books about like trans kids in the library in St. Louis County, like not the most left place in the world, more left than, obviously the rural areas of Missouri. But like, he's like, yeah, this shit's absurd.
right.
Like,
We're not talking about Rhode Island. I don't know. What's the most left place?
like
on that
San
shit?
fucking San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah.
And so like, he's like, this is absurd. Like
They don't even bother with
the
subterfuge there.
priorities.
They just fuck the kids.
They get
All right,
right to
everybody,
it.
get naked.
Yeah, I put your kid on puberty blockers.
Water-based lube here, silicone-based here. Who can spell silicone? No, Tommy, that's silicon. Bend over.
And smart people mix those up. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Silicone's what's going to go in your chest, Tommy. When you're 16 and fully able to make that.
But it's still,
decision.
When you're
I'm
11.
just trying to come back to this deal. Like the
Yeah,
families are
they cut 11-year-olds
70%
dicks off,
responsible
but the
for how well
16-year-old
the kids
ladies
do.
who want a trad existence can't get married.
Yeah, if you can't be in favor of the trans kid thing and also think like young people are too immature to get married. I agree with you there. The trans kid thing is fucking absurd.
Yeah,
like
trans
that is a good weather vane I've found of whether or not someone is like too far gone. If they're like, if someone can like with honest eyes look at you and be like, yeah, that 5-year-old knows he's a little girl and shouldn't go through puberty because he has a mom with borderline personality disorder. And it's like, no, you can't be around kids. Sorry.
The trans kid thing is fucking wild. I'm with you. That's doubly true when we're talking about irreversible shit. If some boy wants to put a dress on, I don't like it. maybe keep it in private. I don't know, but
Let's call it a kill.
Yeah, don't do that.
yeah, call it a kill. Go that way. But when we start doing stuff that like impacts the way their body develops, I can't stand it.
Yeah,
Not
they called out Marjorie Taylor Greene or whoever it was the other day, and it's interesting how they chose to attack her. They're like, Marjorie Taylor Greene's disgusting and bizarre commentary on 11-year-old's genitalia. Like, look at what and 11-year-old's orgasms. And it's like, what she said is, if you cut that boy's penis off and give him a neo-vagina, then that person's going to grow up and never have a real sex life. That's basically what she said. Like, you're taking orgasms away from that person, creating a wound between their legs that'll never heal.
Yeah.
If they don't,
TG and I have found common ground.
didn't take long.
I'd be disturbed if you didn't have common ground on that one. Yeah, but there are people out there who think that's like okay.
I don't know.
And they have institutional power.
I wonder if it'll come back full swing. You know, like maybe something will happen and people will wake up to it, or maybe it'll just go out of vogue, because it's all about being stylish. That's all it is. It's about being cool. If you look at how many Hollywood celebrities, like big ones, their sons or daughters now, it's like, whoa, y'all are way above the normal percentage here. This isn't 0.2% of the population. It's like, and I saw that panel the other day where like out of 5 women, 2 of them were trans women. That's how y'all want to be represented?
Yeah,
I don't know. I could be wrong on this. In my observation, the whole trans thing is a tiny little corner case issue that we've made into like a giant cultural cornerstone that it's not even true. Like,
yeah, it's crazy. It's such a tiny percentage of people who have this thing going on. And I just don't know why we're uprooting traditional society to appease the tiniest minority amongst us. Why everyone has to get in line and has to say their words. If a religion was suggesting any of this, there'd be burning buildings down and
every
killing
society
people in the
has
streets.
religious.
It might be I'm not getting out of the
is.
house because I haven't had to say any words really.
No, there's no compelled speech in the U.S. yet. That's for now just a Canadian thing.
It's just a make-believe complaint, no?
Well, it's like it seems like the conflict.
Well, you're going to go before HR if you're in a corporate environment. It's just something we don't have to deal with, right? Like
right. That's
maybe if you were at Cisco and your project manager was trans and you got the wrong pronoun out one day, you know, or like you're typing away at 100 words per minute and Miss Carl comes along and Miss Carl is like, "Hey,
listen, you got to call me a girl." Yeah, maybe you're right. I have been when I was in a corporate environment. It didn't exist at all, but that was 15 years ago. I wonder, and I'm sure it varies by corporate environment. I have a friend who works in a tech environment, and they do their pronouns at the start of meetings, and it drives them crazy. My friend is not that guy. He's like a army guy. But I'm like, I don't know what the norm is. If you just work at some regular company like Pepsi or Geico, are they doing pronouns nowadays?
Oh yeah, a company that large, like
you think so?
The larger the company, the more DEI, like diversity, equity, and inclusion stuff they have ham-handedly forced on the employees. Like if you're at a mom and pop shop, like people aren't gonna put up with that because it's not organic to put up.
Did they do that where you worked? I don't know how big the company you worked for.
No, it wasn't big enough.
There wasn't any of that.
But like when I would go on like calls to like a Walmart or a CVS, a Walgreens, whatever, like those companies were big enough that they did shit like that. Like they would have, like if you had a trans manager or something and you it all depended on the level of offense that individual chose to take. A minor indiscretion would be enough to destroy you, like if they so choose.
I'm actually all for calling someone their new name, right? If you're Mary and you want to go by Matthew, then whatever, just let me know.
Change it legally. Sure.
I could care less.
I don't want to be compelled to. I want to be asked to.
Yeah, that's fine.
And we all see the difference, right?
Yeah.
Get out of your car right now, sir. Would you please step out of the vehicle?
Right. Yeah. There's a difference.
That
I get
take
it.
Issue with you yell at me. I'm not getting out of this motherfucker even if I want to.
I just like the way I've seen the media like going back to the don't say gay, not like hokum propaganda nonsense where they pretended it was like way more extreme than it was. Like you have activists who are like, we want private special access to kids away from their parents to talk to them about tantric sex. And then you have people on the other side being like, no, that's
what's tantric sex? I don't know that word.
Like trans stuff and like, have you seen some of the books that they have in children's librarities?
I've
like
heard it with a massage.
It's my understanding is
like experimental kind of stuff.
No, but I know what you meant, so it doesn't matter.
What I meant was they have books in libraries aimed at 5-6-year-olds that are like, oh, this is about safe sex. And it's like, no, it's not. It's like teaching a 7-year-old how to eat ass and suck dick. Like, this is despicable and ghastly.
Part of
and then you would have people,
Taylor.
then you would have like
as a point of tantric sex is a slow meditative form of sex where the end goal is not orgasm, but instead enjoying the sexual journey and sensations of the body.
Okay, then I'm literally correct based on some of the stuff I saw in these books my buddy showed me and I saw online, where it's like, this is how, like, these were not sex ed books that are like, this is how to avoid STDs, wear a condom. It was like, here's how you eat someone's ass.
But
Here's
I think
how
you're
you
missing
suck
the
someone's
core
dick.
of it. Like, it stems from a sort of spiritual ancient Hinduism place, not
Okay,
modern.
regardless, we're missing the forest for the trees.
We're trying to have a 4-hour orgasm.
What the way it was covered was like, people were demanding access to other people's kids to talk about like advanced sex stuff and gay sex and how to eat ass, how to suck dick, how to do this and have anal. And
you lost me. They should be teaching this in schools.
No, they shouldn't be teaching this to
some
children.
People don't know this.
It's gross.
And anal sex is normal sex.
And then you had what I consider normal people being like, ew. Like, what the fuck? Why do you want to talk about this with other people's kids in private? You ghoul. Yeah. Like, you realize you're like, when someone tells you, hey, it's integral to my identity that I have private access to your kids to talk about my sexual proclivities. Listen to that person. They just told on themselves.
That person's trying to save you from a toothy blowjob.
That
Taylor.
Person's
you need to appreciate them.
Ghoul. And then like normal people responded to this by being like, ew, like keep this shit away from kids. This is disgusting. Like, normal people have a disgust response to this, and the media's response to that was like, check out these right wings who are obsessed with kids' genitals. And it's like, no, you're the ones obsessed with it. We're telling you to cut it out. Like, stop.
So yeah, it's funny. Like, I feel like we're both talking about the extremes, right? That Joe Biden doesn't want this to happen, and he's the leader of the party. Trump today, while Stormy Daniels was testifying that he fucked her, added banning porn to his platform. And I'm like,
banning porn or online like certification before you can log into a website to protect children from being exposed to filth?
Banning porn.
It's what
like no more pornography?
That's what it's. Yeah.
We're going to arrest the pornographers and the porn stars?
I think it's probably talking about
watching
it, right?
Today.
That I mean, that is a policy that some people have. They want to ban pornography.
Trump aid promises ban on pornography. Is that clear enough?
Well, now I'm hearing it's an aid.
I said he added it to his platform. What, Trump doesn't write his own platform?
Well, I need to. The platform to me would be a website. It
specifically lists a ban on pornography, stating that it's as addictive as any illicit drug and psychologically destructive as any crime. Pornography should be outlawed. The people who produce and distribute it should be imprisoned. There, that's clear.
But where is someone said that? Or someone wrote that?
They added it to his platform today. So
okay, so it's on his website.
Yes, I saw it printed, but it didn't zoom out enough to
see the difference, though, right?
On. Do you see that you're apologizing for this guy? Like, I'm
trying to determine exactly what's happened, and you're trying to hide it from me.
It's not banned in your state. You just have to age gate it, right?
You have to give them your ID.
So it's not
you have
banned.
to give them. Well, okay. In my state,
Alcohol's
you need a federal ID and tell them who you are before you look at porn.
Yeah,
like beer.
Privacy's gone now.
So then, then it's not banned. It's
but
not
you act
banned
like it
anymore
doesn't
than
impact
alcohol.
you if you're over 18. No, you need to provide your ID.
Right.
Yeah.
And this guy today wasn't talking about age gating it. You're conflating this protecting the children with banning pornography because they don't think that you're adult enough to handle it. They think it's psychologically destructive and addictive and want to ban porn and imprison people who make it.
Well, what I'm hearing is that there's two policies that are quite similar that are anti-pornography that are right-wing. What I'm trying to determine is which one was thrown out there by a guy, to quote you, on
An
Trump's
aide. I didn't say
okay,
a guy.
an aide. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Oh, at one point you said a guy. And then it was an aide. Has added it to his platform. I want to believe you, and then once I believe you, I will say that's bullshit. They shouldn't do that. It's free expression. But before I can agree with you, I have to know it's true.
I wish
So
you
to add
lived
it to
in
his
my
platform-
environment, right? So now it's like the Trump aide is saying that it was added to his platform was what I saw in a video. I'm only as good as my sources. In my state, you can't get to these sites anymore unless you give them your driver's license.
Different issue.
Like
though,
these
right?
are real impacts, though. We're related.
Yeah.
I don't think they are. I think they're the same category. But what I'm trying to say is the thing where you have to show your ID. I don't like it, but I understand it.
This is
And-
the
and
slippery slope of basically imposing a Christian Sharia law.
That's like saying it's that requiring ID.
Kyle,
by
imagine if
cigarette
social media
for-
companies bended under pressure from political parties and election
we show
seasons
ID
to
for
remove
any
certain
number of
stories.
things online. We show our ID for any number of things online. I don't want them to make me show ID for pornography. I don't want that. However, I understand the people who do. They are not. They don't like pornography. It is a problem. I want the problem to stay, though. Do you see my point? Like it is evil. It is wrong. Our society would improve if it were gone. Pornography, this is. I truly believe all that, but I like it.
Yeah.
Don't take my vice away, daddy government. That's my stance.
Mhm.
But to say it's been added to his platform to make pornography essentially illegal. I just want to nail down that he really did that. The same way I wanted to nail down that he really called dead veterans losers or whatever. Like if he said that, I need to see it. I need to know. I don't want to hear some hearsay. I don't want to say, oh, it was a guy who works for him, was on a talk show or a podcast, and they said it. I want to see Donald Trump either say it or add it to his website. And they've got the website with like their platform, and it'll be like, I remember Joe Biden's there was marijuana stuff. They were like, holy shit, Joe Biden put it right on his platform, on his web, JoeBiden.com.
I agree with what you're saying, Kyle, in that it is that pornography is a negative for society,
for sure.
But like
for all involved.
I don't know what the answer is.
There can be
but
bad things.
It's good to like, you don't want kids looking at it. Like it's unbelievably damaging for fucking 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds to have just total access basically to this rough sex that you can find online for free. Like that's a negative that poisons their mind and not towards having a healthy adult sex life. Like it's bad. And so there needs to be something done with how prolific the internet is to prevent children from accessing this content. Same reason that like YouTube doesn't let you put fucking gore and horrific stuff that a 10-year-old could come across.
So
like,
you know how
bad.
on your television you can block certain channels, right?
Yeah.
Kids can't get to it. If they were arguing that devices should have a kids mode that is easy to put it into, I wouldn't fuss, right? Like, this kids mode can't access all these websites, etc. But when the government starts telling you, like, restricting your freedoms because they think they know what's right for you, that's bad. And that's where the Republicans are right now. That's what they're doing with, like, who's moving the goal line on pot? I think who's moving the ball down the field on marijuana?
Democrats right now, for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. And
Missouri got it. It's starting to come around.
Well, federally, he's speaking.
Federally, yeah.
Yeah. Trump was president for 4 years and he didn't make any progress on that issue. As a matter of fact, he reversed progress. Obama was not prosecuting for crimes. And then Trump was like, no, let's lock up those potheads. And he did. So that's Trump's take on this. I don't like the government being my nanny.
It's understandable too. I don't know what the right answer is, but you can't just have 10-year-olds with unfettered access to hardcore pornography.
We do. And we
I like
have
my
had for a
answer.
generation. I like your answer too, but it's I don't think it's feasible technologically speaking and socially speaking, because we all when I went to school and like we had cell phones when I was in high school. And it was brand new not everybody did. Like kids whose parents could afford phones, or I don't even know if that family plan had happened yet, where you could get like 5 phones or 4 phones. And it was like, holy shit, 4 phones for $180. That's crazy. I don't know if that had happened yet. So phones, you're giving your kids something expensive that was fragile as fuck. I had a Sony Ericsson. You drop that thing, it dies. Not
I
the
had one of
flip
those.
phone.
You needed a Nikon, maybe?
It fell apart. Yeah.
Yeah,
The Nokia. Yeah.
Nokia, thank you.
Yeah, I had the Sony Ericsson. It was silver and it had like an oval at the top and it was square at the bottom. Anywho, nobody could see that thing. That thing was basically like, it's like a don't ask, don't tell piece of contraband. It's like, yeah, we know kids have phones, but we better not see that thing. Not at lunch. You would have that thing in your crotch, like low, looking at it. If you were doing anything, if you were going to message or if your mom, and it would always be like, you know, your mom's texting you, hey.
To be clear, is this even lunch break?
Anytime. Like you can't have it out anytime. It's contraband.
At school.
Now it's, yeah. Oh,
that's how it was in my high school.
Like, what are you doing with a cell phone? You're here to learn, right? Because it also, it wasn't a smartphone. All it did was call and text people. You don't need that thing, you know? So now everybody's got their phone fucking out, fucking with it all day long. It seems like, man, it'd be so easy for a 13-year-old to like one kid's gonna have the porno. Like there's gonna be that shitty kid with porno, and he's like, here's the porno. And look,
that's how it was done back in my day. Magazines were shared, and
how long does it take?
And it was harder to do.
It probably
wasn't.
There's going to be a cool
stuff they show now.
There's going to be a cool older brother who's like, the 13-year-old's like, we can't look at boobies anymore. They put that. It's like, dude, 3 letters for you, VPN. It's like it's technology is going to go around it one way or another. Even with their law, we all know, like can't stop it. The idea of stopping it is really just appeasing the far right, making sure they get those votes, and that's it. Because it's, even if they do the thing, you just use the VPN or you go to a different website. It's only the only websites who have went along and like boycotted or whatever and say, no, we won't do this. It's like that big corporate giant umbrella one, and that's not good pornography anyway. That's shit pornography. For those who don't know, like maybe y'all didn't notice, but Pornhub went from like 900 million videos to 4,000 videos a few years ago, and the 4,000 videos are suddenly lit so well.
Well, it was because they were like getting in trouble.
Now. But it's like drugs, for example. All drugs should be illegal. All of the recreational drugs should, marijuana, all of them. You should have to go to a doctor, and not one of those hippie doctors. They should all be illegal. But I don't like that kind of. I don't like that tyranny. I think I should be able to take heroin. I think I should be able to kill myself with heroin slowly, and you should have to support me. I think you should have to pay my doctor bills while I kill myself slowly with heroin. I believe that. But if I'm out for society's good, not my own good, where I get to do all the heroin I want, you pay for it, then I gotta say no heroin for anybody, right? Like it's two different mindsets.
Drugs are really tricky for me. Like
same thing with the 16-year-olds.
If Kyle can't have them, no one can. Yeah.
With drugs, you can't have 16-year-olds in this state. Like pot, mushrooms, and there's another one, alcohol.
Acid.
I'm okay with.
Yeah.
Alcohol. Alcohol kills more people than like so many scary things.
I think that number's pumped up by the fact that it's legal. If you give these other drugs legality, they might join it. I don't know which one exactly. Is it acid? Is it heroin? Heroin would pass it, I bet, if it were legal. But maybe I'm just coming from tradition. Anyway, I like those legal. This is the thing where I'm trying to do what I just said you can't do with porn. So I don't have an answer for my own hypocrisy, trying to draw a line at the right spot. But I also liken it to action sports. You should absolutely be allowed to hang glide or base jump or even just free solo. Like I would hate a country where they said, no, you can't play on that rock wall. We've determined that, you know, it takes so much talent to climb that one. You're not allowed. I think that's a shitty place to live. I don't like that. And somehow that ties into all sorts of other bad decisions you might want to make in my mind.
Yeah. Again, like if I'm trying to form a utopia, we got to eliminate some freedoms because at the edge, it's just like how one man's freedom fighter is another man's terrorist.
Yeah.
You know, your freedom shouldn't encroach on mine. That's usually my weather vane. If I'm going for it's that's the one I do for me. Again, it's like that's the one I want to be a part of for my own selfish reasons. Is the one where our freedoms go as far as until they intercede upon another's. That's how you get rid of yelling fire. Is freedom of speech in a theater or whatever. It's like no, it's not, dummy. But hate speech is free speech. I so wholeheartedly believe hate speech is free speech and free speech is hate speech. Yeah, I saw a German throwing up a today, and the cops threw him on the ground, whooped his ass, and arrested him. And I'm like, I don't like that. Reddit. Yeah. I don't like that. Like, you think I like I fucking hate. Look, nobody. I love World War II. I know that these were the bad guys, unlike some people today. But like that guy should be able to. He should be able to do whatever hand signals he wants on the fucking street. That's what I think.
I see where you're coming from. I have another hypocrisy I can't resolve in myself, which is the tax code. So America's tax code, like many countries, encourage certain behavior through the tax code. One of them is home ownership. We make the interest on a mortgage, loans for a house, only your primary house, tax deductible. You can deduct those from your personal income. Why do we do that? Well, America has decided that homeowners are a little more invested in their community, a little more looking towards the long term, a little more caring about their school systems, whereas renters don't give a fuck about the local place that they live in. It's just a passing by.
Fly by night.
Who gives a fuck, right? So America has encouraged home ownership through the tax code. We've done it with There's children tax credits. And while I benefited from it, I always thought it was terrible. Somehow, now that I don't get it anymore, I'm like, this is starting to make some sense because our reproductive rate's a little lower than we wish it was. People are waiting longer to have kids. And I'm like, well, it wouldn't be so bad if we lightened the financial burden on young family or any family, really. People they're still supporting their kids. So we're encouraging certain behaviors through the tax code. And somehow I'm for that. But then, we want to ban certain vices. And I'm like, where's my freedom?
What do you think about
a little hypocrisy there?
More, I love these topics. What do you think about no-fault divorces?
It baffles me that Republicans are trying to make divorce harder.
Really?
Maybe I'm out of touch. Because I'm hearing now, I guess there's a trend of fussing about women, probably born from some truth, who get divorced because they're not happy, even though they don't have a legitimate reason to be unhappy. They shouldn't be shaking up people's lives. They're just I'm not really feeling it. I'm gonna, burn this to the ground and start over again.
There's no downside for the woman.
Yeah.
There are only upsides.
It can even be incentivized. Yeah.
There are only upsides to a woman leaving her husband. It's why you see people in situations where I have to divorce my husband of 37 years so that we can afford this surgery. There are only upsides to divorce for the woman. There are only downsides for the man. That's just the way it works.
Yeah.
I'm actually not familiar with that part of the financial upside. If you still like this guy, I don't know how you get money by being divorced, but
alimony.
But it's coming from if the two of you couldn't afford it together,
you go off with a new man who will also now.
So in this case, she's leaving her husband and getting another guy's money, so that the two of them fund.
As women do.
Yeah, when women initiate divorce, they tend to have another branch they're holding on to before they let go of the current one. That's just how.
Right. I just got a little deep dived into I have a surgery I can't afford, so I'll get a divorce, and that'll give us a bonus. I'm I don't understand how that.
Not that. It's just.
But I do see women. I read about women leaving men when they probably should have stuck it out. That guy did nothing wrong. He was a good man, and now he's financially ruined.
Yeah,
and
it's a fucked up situation.
Yeah, I don't like.
However, a burden of proof on forcing you to stay with the guy.
We're not grandfathering it in. Don't worry. You know what I mean? That makes it better, right? Now, when he proposes marriage, just know he proposed a marriage. We take lots of vows in society. When you take that vow and you sign those papers and you join the Marine Corps, you best believe there's no fault leaving the Marine Corps. We're in the mud, buddy. Get your shit, Semper Fi, Commando Joe.
It's a tricky contract thing. With the bank for a mortgage loan is, a lot more serious than leaving a marriage.
Depends on how old the marriage.
If you're a woman, it should ruin her. If a woman does that, make it like a bankruptcy. It ruins her relationship credit for 7 years. She cannot get married for 7 years.
Oh, it'll impact her status, all right. I bet. Especially if she has a kid. As a single mom, everybody wants to rent you. No one wants to buy you.
Yes.
Very true.
That nobody wants to be a stepfather. And for a lot of reasons, right? It's not just about, it's about you'll never be able to discipline that child properly. That'll never be your child. If you can't enforce a rule set around that child that is yours without going to the real parent, as it were,
Mhm.
then that's not your kid. That's somebody else's kid that you're taking care of, and you're never going to be able to influence them in the way that you need to. So you're not a real parent. If your daddy can't spank you and your mommy can't spank you, and I'm not talking about beating the shit out of you, maybe like slapping you on the ass if you're just being a jerk.
Or
Like
even just
kids-
take things away, you know. Whatever your
Yeah,
punishment is, time out. I don't know.
Dad took Mark took my PlayStation away. You gonna let him do that? My real dad bought that because he has a real dad job. Mark, what are you playing? PlayStation 1 over there? I'm a retro gamer, you piece of shit. I should have never married your whore of a mother.
I can only afford the PS1 after your bitch mom divorced me and took my fucking Oculus Rift.
Guys, 5 wolves or a bear or a man? Which would you rather?
Which would I rather have sex with in the woods?
Yeah. I love that
Wolves.
question really blew up all over. I know you don't, I guess, go on the internet, Taylor.
I saw bits and pieces of it after the fact, like, and
You might like the internet.
and it was what I assumed. It was exactly women signaling like frustration at men in a way that like is totally disingenuous, and even they know they're lying. Like,
nope.
no, that
It's
is
interesting
what it is.
it's interesting how different our take is on this. No,
Because they wouldn't
they
have
are
that same
afraid of
answer.
men and they are ignorant of bears, and that is as far as it needs to go.
All of those women's answers would have been different if they were forced to answer the question: would you rather encounter in the forest a bear or a black man?
If you let them,
100% of them
if
would
you-
have said black man
if it's
because they're not
if it's
actually
anonymous,
expressing fear.
if it's
They're
anonymous,
it's
they
a
won't be
social
afraid.
signal.
Okay, that's a different thing. Now you're bringing in another like crazy thing in our society with anti-white racism, and like mixing it in. If you make the survey anonymous, so like, hey, bubble in black man or bear, which one would you rather? Black man or black bear? Which would you rather bump into in the woods? Like, I still say they're gonna.
I might
say,
choose black bear. Now that I know it's a black bear,
I linked you a woman who got her face eaten by a black bear.
I've successfully defeated a black bear. Know who you're talking to, all right? They're
You
nothing.
spooked a black bear one time.
Dude, I told him he was a bad bear, and he ran off like I hurt his feelings. These are not the scariest creatures.
I'd pick any race of man over any race of bear.
I don't think
I don't know.
you've come in combat with a black bear.
I see.
They're not
I
that
see
bad.
Women's, I
They
see
really
women's
aren't.
point
But
there.
it's still
I
a
see
human.
women's. I genuinely see women's point there when they say man, because like just as quickly as I'll send you that.
Did you mean
picture.
bear when they say man?
When they say bear, when they say they'd rather bump into the bear, I get that to some extent. I don't know. If I put myself in the position of a woman, it's like, man, I don't know. It's hard when you imagine yourself as a woman and you don't want to be sexually assaulted by a man. And you don't, and you know, I imagine
You don't
that I
want to
haven't
be
seen a lot of,
gored and eaten by a bear.
well, maybe I would choose man because men don't prey on men at the way they prey on women. But I'm also fully aware that bears prey on everything smaller than them in some instances.
Mhm.
So like, I get that too. And I sent you that. I really did link you on WhatsApp, that lady whose face was eaten by a black bear. And
Yeah, I didn't like that.
I can't believe no one's posted that to Reddit. like they should just put it up. There's a subreddit called Leopards Ate My Face, and it's all about people who like get their
fuck with
comeuppance.
animals.
No, not at all.
Oh.
It's people getting their comeuppance basically, and it's a bit ironic the way it happens. So like that one would be a
Not
good
at
meme
all.
over there.
Well, you understand why I went there, right? Leopards ate my face.
No, a lot of it is anti-Republican politics in that subreddit.
Oh,
like
it's just Reddit,
gay
yeah.
people who support the Republicans, for example, will be like,
Hmm.
what? And then they put this like trying to remove my marriage, and it's like leopards ate my face, right?
Yeah, it's you
Leopards do what
realizing
leopards
that
do. But sometimes it's not against Republicans, and they'll just be like, whatever. Like maybe you fought your life to free rapists from jail, then you get raped. It's like
that happened. There was that woman who like got the rapist out, and then he raped her and her mother and killed them both.
Oh,
I
good
think
gosh.
I actually saw that.
Yeah.
I didn't. That one's new to me. But wow.
I think I
it's
saw. I think Anthony Cumia retweeted that onto my timeline.
Well, it was a black man, so I can
and
imagine
it's a safe bet that he's the
Anthony
one. Who threw it up
Cumia's
there.
Twitter's the most racist place on the internet. Like that's where you go.
Dude, it's ground zero. It's good. It's good. It's good.
Wow,
Dude, if
I
a black
don't-
man commits a violent crime, in 3 minutes, Anthony's on the fucking AP Wire getting news about it so he can retweet it.
So I don't browse Twitter ever. I probably
Nope.
hit it every day because I'll get linked to it from Reddit or something,
Mhm.
but I don't scroll it. But Taylor told me to check out Kumia's thing, and God, like he was right at just that moment of time. You grab a random period of time, you check that thing out, and it is a rough look.
Oh yeah, you want to know the most recent in a country of 350 million people, the most recent black violent criminal, Anthony Cumia, already has his name.
Devon
Already
Morris.
has him.
It'd be funny you'd asked him, and he'd, Devon Morris. Actually, that happened 3 seconds ago. Yeah, he raped, pillaged, murdered. Like, how do you get it? He's getting Amber Alerts. He's getting black alerts.
he's
though.
getting black alerts.
Yeah, there wouldn't be Amber. It needs to be some other brown.
You know they changed in California, right? You need a different
What?
color
No.
for black kids.
That's true.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Zach, fact check me on that. I'm pretty sure California made, instead of Amber Alert, they've got like fucking Ebony Alert or some shit. Just so you know that it's a black kid who's missing, not a
Yeah, so you have to take it
not a
seriously.
whitey. Yeah,
Not some horrible.
Well,
colonizer.
that's in the eye of the beholder. That might work against them if that was their goal.
that'd be funny. Like, because in my phone, I disabled them all because I'm not.
You can
I'm
do
not-
that.
Yeah, it asks
How do
you.
you
Like,
do that?
I have an Android, so
I don't know.
it asks me if I want to accept Amber Alerts, and I'm like, absolutely not. I don't want any alerts. It asked me if I wanted extreme weather alerts. Those, none of that
Mhm.
shit. I don't want any of that shit. But if I could choose whether I want yes to Amber Alerts and no to Ebony Alerts, that'd be
That'd be-
hilarious.
That'd
That would be
fun.
pretty funny. You're not doing
One
anything
deep-
for either of them.
Yeah. What do they call it?
Ebony alert.
Ebony
is what's
alert.
I
next.
called
You
it.
were
Yeah,
right.
nice. Oh, last night I was in my backyard smoking a double doink, and it was dark. I mean, dark. And I hear a bird flying. I can hear it going. It's close enough that I can hear its wings in the air, and then it crashes into the tree. That's like, and I can't see it because it's so dark. It crashes into the tree just real close to me, and it's in there, and it goes. Dude, I got so scared. I ran back in the house and closed the door behind me.
Dogs are pawing at the door. Let me in.
I was like, don't let the little dog go out there. I heard a big bird land in that tree. I was like, I
Sounds
don't know
like
how
it might
big
have
was.
technically been a raptor. So you made a good
Yeah,
call.
Mhm.
it sounded like a big
Safety
fucking
first.
owl or something that would scoop up his little ass and
They're
peck him
very
down.
silent wings. Is not an owl.
Well, okay, not an owl, perhaps some sort of eagle or hawk. Or maybe it was a monster. I don't know.
Falcon.
Maybe it was one of the demons I've been asking for a while. Me and Satan over there.
Be wary with that.
I was telling
Might give you what you're looking for.
we were playing poker, and I told those guys that you had agreed at one point, Woody, to sell your soul to me, and they were like, yeah, that's fine. I'm like, no. He said that I could bring like a demon, like a Satanist on board to like be the middleman, sort of the notary. like I would show up with like a demonic notary public, basically, like a guy to
puppet
like.
one.
Yeah.
No, a real one, a real. he'd
Oh,
have
a
to
real
join the-
one. My bad. I'm crazy.
Yes, like I want him to do the real rituals or whatever. I want you to like prick your thumb and like maybe sign in blood or something, make an X in blood for us, and have a whole contract. And when I explained to them that you're willing to do that, they were all like, "I would never do that. I would
Yeah.
never do that." Everyone I've told this to, and again, just to be clear, what the scenario is. A person who believes in the devil and worships them is going to show up with some old-timey fucking scroll and shit,
Yeah.
and you are going to swear
An
to give
ancient
them their
tome.
soul in exchange for something and sign in blood and give it back to them. And you have no reservations, not even a little.
No. Imagine this. Imagine I had a quarter in my palm, right? And you were going to use all the satanic tricks that you could think of so that when I turned my hand over, that quarter wouldn't fall, right? Everything. You bring out a real Satanist, you sign in blood, all this. Do you think that quarter will fall? when I turn
Completely
my
different
Why
scenario.
would a
We're not
demon
talking about
want to
moving
do that?
quarters. We're talking about bargaining your soul, another intangible thing that may exist as far as we know.
Yes.
But if this thing had any power, he'd be able to keep a quarter afloat.
No, if it had
No.
any power over material objects in our dimension, it would. But I'm talking about your everlasting soul if it exists, and we don't know if it exists.
Yeah, you could be selling your soul for a fucking piece
We're
of
talking
pizza.
about the thing that is you that might live on for eternity,
am
being sold to a
so
demon who wants it.
confident that this doesn't exist. This isn't real.
I'm not.
I'm not either. I think it definitely is. Like it's not.
Oh, this is there's no soul. There's no magic.
Your parents would never do this.
Your parents wouldn't do this, and the vast majority of people throughout history believed in this stuff. Like,
Yes,
I-
that is true. I will admit the vast majority of people in history
Yeah.
believed in spiritual whatever because there's things that we
The
can't
vast majority
explain.
of people today believe in it.
yeah, most people today believe in that.
It's carries over, right? They're from the before they could talk, they were brainwashed with that.
Look at
bullshit.
Woody here. He knows something nobody else has ever known. Nobody knows today.
Isaac
I mean,
Newton.
oh,
Isaac
confident.
Newton, a fool because he was he believed in Christ. Yeah.
Einstein wasn't real.
There's no way I would sign a blood contract with a person who was actually a demon fucking worshiper. Like,
I
and if
wouldn't do
were,
it with anyone. No chance. No
you know,
way.
would you? I mean, I've heard you jokingly invite Lord Satan into your heart and soul. So you need to
Oh,
be careful about that
only
too.
only joking.
Are you like doing one of these, like under the table?
I'm
like
doing
crossing-
fingers crossed, and I would never in sincerity do something like
Yeah,
that.
that's you making the crucifix to protect yourself. from
Yeah,
the evil.
The spirit worlds, afterlife, all that shit. It can't remotely be true.
Wow.
I mean,
You are in the vast minority if you don't believe in any afterlife. The vast minority.
So you don't think there's anything supernatural at all ever?
right.
Like there's no soul, no spirit.
When
no
you
angels,
die, the energy, the calories that your body has gets re-released into the universe.
So you think we're only material, nothing more.
Right.
our
And I'm like
sentience goes no
wildly
further.
confident that there's nothing after
I-
this.
I feel like I feel like even physicists aren't wildly confident about the fabric of reality. Like they're always talking about dark energy and dark matter. And like, what is it? And it's like, don't even think of it as energy or matter, and certainly don't think of it as dark. It's some stuff that we can measure but not quantify. It's a thing we can see but never touch, and it exists in greater quantities than anything that you can see and touch. And you're like, holy fuck, is there like? Well, that's worrying to me.
Like the and when you think like if a demon wanted to harm you, and like let's for the sake of argument say like demons, angels, religion, all that 100% true, like there would be no incentive for a demon to keep a quarter glued to your palm. What it would want to do is what it says they'd want to do in the Bible, which is convince you that it's not real and to live for yourself and to do whatever you want all the time. And then you awaken into the afterlife
Listen.
in hell because it's not, that's one thing that some movies do get right about like the devil and demons and everything. And many get wrong is like, they aren't trying to bring brimstone into your kitchen and scare you to God. They would be trying to convince you that you had all you needed and your own faculties were the only thing you ever needed to rely on, and just keep living, get to the end of that life and it'll be nothing. And then it's not nothing. Like that would be the incentive for the demon, not to glue something to your hand like
Yeah,
a
he doesn't want to do a
trick.
magic show to give you faith.
Yeah.
He can't,
Well,
Or
then
he
why
would.
doesn't God do a magic show to give you faith?
because then what would be the point of faith? That's not faith. That's knowledge.
I mean, oh my
Yeah.
God. It seems like we just keep making up rules
You
along the way. to
No, we're
support
defining
a
the word
complete
faith.
lack of evidence.
No, we're defining the word faith.
Right? Like
because
there's never been
tell you there's
evidence
a
of this throughout all of history
not
of
try-
mankind, but everyone believes in it, and that's why everyone believes in it.
Well, I'm not trying to defend religion. I'm just explaining why you can't have faith with proof. Like that's
Like
That
the
doesn't work.
purpose of yeah, Kyle's right. Like faith isn't faith if you're just watching a demon glue something to your palm.
It seemed like before everyone had cell phones with cameras in our pocket, like in Jesus's day, he was doing parlor tricks all the time. He's turning water into wine. He's walking on water. He's doing shit all the time. Nowadays, we've rewritten it, and it's oh yeah, you know what? You got to believe in nothing. That's what faith is.
Not really. Like it's. I mean, he said like he was the final kind of revelation, Jesus. Like he was there, and he was like, "And I'm leaving." And
No, I'm with you on the politics.
The church
I'm
and
100% with you on the politics, and I don't believe. Just to be clear, I'm like 99% atheist on this, probably or agnostic at least. Like I kind of like the idea that maybe all those stories are based on something that happened. Like I don't know, maybe some fucking 4-dimensional being, like from the Third Body Problem that
Con Man.
I mean, Con Man's most likely for sure, but then again, there's like stories and tales that match up from lots of civilizations that kind of look weird.
Yeah.
But what I would suggest, if there's anyone out there who has any sort of demonologist or Satan worshiping or soul notary public transfer experience or skills, if you've got, you better have a Necronomicon or some kind, like a book. You better have a book. I want a scroll. I want quills, and I want you to be, I don't want you to look like Susie Homemaker, like, yeah, we're Wiccan. No, get your fucking girlfriend's weird hobbies out of here. I want the devil man to show up. Not that guy that's talking about Gaia and the fucking earth spirit. I want a dude that wants to invite Lord Satan into his heart. He does it every night, every morning. I want someone who knows something about blood sacrifice. If we can get them on the show, I want to buy Woody's soul because I'm worried about my own, and I feel like if I've got his in my back pocket,
I do not want to do a show with a fucking Satanist. That's disgusting.
No, only.
I need him to. You really don't want to like be part of me buying Woody's soul?
No, I want nothing to do with demons and Satan. No way. What's the trade-off there?
Well, I think it'd be very entertaining, and I get Woody's soul potentially.
What are you going to do? Sell it back to him when his life falls apart, Simpson style?
No. I'm keeping it. He's not getting it back for anything. But I figure maybe when I pass away, maybe a demon or an angel of some kind may come to me and say, "It says here you have the soul of the Woodworth," and I'll be like, "Yeah, that shit's mine. He sold it to me. I got that dude Clint. He hooked me up."
You definitely go to hell for buying a soul. They'd be like, devil himself.
No, they'd bargain with me. They'd have to do a deal with me. And I've got 2 souls instead of 1. So that first deal is clearly a trick. That first trick would be like a soul for a fucking timeshare property or something.
Cherry tomato.
Oh, I don't want that. I mean, cherry tomato might be helpful if you're in hell. But yeah, I'd like to have Woody's soul if at all possible. So if there's any like,
I've been trying to keep it good.
I doubt that. So if any of you out there who feel like you could handle this transaction in a believable and more importantly an entertaining fashion, like I would like that. I want someone wearing a black cloak. You know what I mean? And like we try to crack jokes, and he's just like, yeah, it's all very amusing, sir. Again, place your hand on the Black Bible. Your right hand, yes, sir.
That's racist.
And your other on your heart.
They use the same.
Very
Bible,
good.
Kyle.
Very good.
I don't think they would.
Now
swear
repeat
on,
after me.
I don't think they'd swear on the Bible.
It's a Black Bible.
Yeah,
Black Bible. Yeah, these are all those books that were removed. The book of
Black people use
the book
same
of the
Bible.
Morning Star.
Ooh, that's spooky. Yeah, I don't want that. I don't want to be around that.
I want it. No. He's wearing an upside down crucifix or something, or maybe a pentagram, and he's like bleeding when he shows up, and he's all like, "Yes, it's very amusing, sir. Once again, you are. I understand why people watch now. Again, your hand on the Black Bible, sir.
An unironic
after me.
Is like a
he starts speaking Latin, like what he's repeating after him in Latin. Oh, this could be fun.
I don't sell your soul, Woody. Don't sell your soul to the devil.
I mean, this is equivalent to bringing in a Warhammer expert to get my soul. Like this is total.
See, that's where he is
fiction.
on this.
That's,
the fact that
I just don't see it that way at all.
I don't see it that way either, and I'm not religious anymore. I'm really not. But it's one of those things where like, what if you were dying? Would you throw one up? Like, just in case you're up there. I did try to be a good man. I did do my best, and I hope you looked down and it made you proud.
If it made someone else feel good, I'd do that for sure.
Oh, see what I'm talking about, Taylor? He's just zero belief. I've got a little, like you shake the tank and you can hear some in there.
Yeah.
Woody's canteen, just sand comes out.
Yeah, I've definitely got the most of us.
Here you go, Mr. Frodo. You can have some from mine. And there's just a little left in there for me. But Woody's canteen's fucking dry on the faith. My goodness.
Yeah, I don't.
I would not sell my soul.
No, I would never sell my soul. That's a bad move.
I've
No,
seen enough
there's-
Supernatural to know better.
Yeah.
There's been episodes of that.
I
where-
can't argue against that. I mean, geez, you've got to. I mean, now I'm stumped.
I mean,
Now
it's
you're being
that's a
ridiculous,
documentary.
Yeah.
So say what you will. Just as all things are possible through God, I'm pretty sure the devil might be the good guy anyway. You know, the I feel like history's written by the victors.
Mhm.
Churchill had some great
killed
quotes
far
like
fewer
that.
people.
Yeah, the
if
devil's
anyone.
absolutely not the good guy.
Churchill said
How
something
many people
like,
does God kill?
I know. I think Churchill said,
I don't
history
know.
will look upon me fondly.
Lots.
I know because I'll write it, or something like that.
Ah, yeah. How many
That
people
is-
has the devil killed?
A lot.
Is
Yeah.
it? I thought it was like 3 or something.
Killed?
I can't win on biblical knowledge. I'll lose
Like
every
str-
time.
I don't. Did the devil ever kill a person? I don't think so.
Oh, like
No.
like in the Bible, killing someone.
Yeah. I mean, he had a war in heaven against the other angels.
He
Like,
rebelled against God, and now the only power he has is to corrupt God's ultimate creation,
Oh, it
which is
says
man,
God.
which is causing us to stumble and not go to heaven and go to hell. And so, in that way, countless people have fallen to the devil.
I'm just saying. I feel like God asks a lot, gives very little. The devil.
Eternal salvation.
That doesn't sound like fun to me. Eternal salvation. What does that even mean? Why didn't he promise like houses and like?
Taylor, I'll give you
hookers.
eternal salvation for
At least the. I'll say this about the.
No,
I'll say
you're
this
not
about
God.
the
I mean,
if the
You-
Muslims
you
interpretation
really want to
is
risk
right,
that? I might be.
like
No, you're definitely
72
not.
virgins. 72 virgins sounds way better than eternal salvation.
I mean, I don't know as much about Muslim belief, but I
Yeah, I don't
believe
either.
eternal salvation is also part of their doctrine.
Yeah, but they get pussy like
they have
codified in.
heaven and hell. And no, I and again, I don't know enough about Islam, but I think that 72 virgin thing is only for like
Martyrs?
someone who dies, like a martyr.
Oh, fucking! I got you. I eat that bacon for you, Lord. My whole life, and it took me down.
And they took. Wait,
72 virgins.
so you're a Muslim who's eating bacon, and you're
Oh,
expecting
I
the
forgot
virgins?
about that. They don't like that, do they?
No.
Shit. I couldn't.
Yeah, of all
You
the
thought they were trying
sacrifices
to
you could have
spite
made. You
Jews?
ate bacon.
Yeah, I ate bacon. I didn't know. Damn.
Yeah.
I got.
They would have been like, this guy just fundamentally did not understand the assignment. Like, he just really didn't get what we were going for at all here.
That doesn't seem like the kind of religion where you
The hell
plead
with
ignorance either. They just be fucked her up.
No.
Yeah, I believe just enough to not sell my fucking soul to a demon man.
Yeah,
I'm shocked that you would. That's the one I want to know. I want to know, like y'all.
See, a lot of
listeners
people
out
do
there.
this. They're like, you know what? I've lived my entire life without even the smallest shred of evidence this is true. But a lot of people say it is, so I'm gonna hedge my bets. And I don't know. I go with my gut.
I think the whole point of it is there is no evidence. That's what faith's about. So the lack of evidence.
How convenient.
What's the definition of the word? You know.
Well,
It's
I mean,
belief without evidence.
That's like what all of Christianity is and all these religions.
Trust.
It's like you're saved, or at least in Christianity, by God's grace through your faith.
I was not
not
given the
through
gift of faith. This
actions.
is really on God.
You can work on it.
No, because
It's a
he wanted to
gift.
know what kind of bear it was earlier. His mind works differently.
This does come back to the bear thing.
Like, people look at problems differently.
Oh,
Yeah.
sales are
No evidence.
Whoa. Zach Pace it. Souls are inalienable. Consequently, they cannot be sold even to the devil. Any such putative deal would be invalid before God. It would be a mortal sin to attempt such a deal, but the deal would be invalid and would not result in the transfer of ownership of the soul. Thus, the individual's soul always remains his own, and if he properly repents in such a deal before death, he no longer has the mortal sin either. Sounds like Kyle was about to get conned.
Conned.
Yeah, you can't sell a soul, but I'm gonna get I don't even
A
know what I
quarter.
was
You
getting.
you
A quarter?
agreed to like a nominal fee, so I can't get scammed. You
I thought they were
can
like
get your mortal
1995.
sin though, and I.
This is the best proof I've seen of devil yet. I'm looking at him.
I get your soul, Woody.
Yeah, you can't sell them, I guess.
You can't sell them. Not yours to sell.
Yeah. Well, even if I don't get the soul, like maybe I can be a middleman for Lord Satan, just slide it across the table to him. I know I can't handle it, maybe, but I could just sort of like wedge it over.
You're gonna go to hell to be a middleman.
For all we know, hell is like the place
you aspire to be a middle manager.
I bet heaven. He like plugs your soul into some sort of God machine that's giving him all of his power, and you exist as some sort of energy slave for all eternity. And he's like, salvation for all eternity, my child, my battery, my power. And you're like, God's eyes flash a little, and you realize he's not the good guy, and Jesus is like the slave master. He's like walking. He's just a jailer.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that's retarded.
And then but then someone the energy bubble next to you that's power him goes, don't worry. On the morn, Satan will come for us. He has promised this. And we're all down there like praying to Satan because he's the good guy. He didn't like God abusing humanity like this. See, God told us that Satan got jealous of mankind, but in reality, he pitied mankind because they'd been created to just be an energy source, to live painful lives, and then to die and be power.
Satan
for God.
Introduced sin to humans.
Yeah, that's how it's not sin, knowledge, right? It was the tree of right and wrong, or the tree of knowledge, or whatever. That doesn't sound like the
tree
bad
of good and evil. Yeah,
the tree of good and evil. Again, it sounds like Satan was showing up and saying, "Don't be brainwashed. You've got to understand the master plan. First, eat this apple." And we're like, "Holy shit, you're right. Now you got to eat this orange." And then God showed up, and we never got to eat the orange of fucking truth and darkness, or whatever the fuck.
No, they got in trouble because Satan tricked Eve into eating from the tree of good and evil.
Again, that's God's version of the story.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with God.
Are you? Yeah. He named himself,
He named himself God?
Yeah.
Well, who else is gonna do it? There was nobody around.
I mean, he could have called himself the boss, or
he does seem
coach,
pretty conceited, right?
He could have been coach
for the 10 Commandments about worshiping him.
Yeah. No graven image, no God before me. My name in vain.
It's no other gods.
Dude's
no
got
idols.
a huge ego.
Don't take the Lord's name in vain. And then all the rest are like, honor your parents, don't steal, don't murder, don't envy.
Adultery's one.
Adultery, stuff like that.
Coveting thy neighbor's wife.
Man, quick. I like the pictures here.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
No other gods before me, no idols. Don't take the Lord's name in vain. Keep Sabbath day holy. Honor your father and mother. No murder, no adultery, no stealing, no lying, no coveting.
1, 2, and 3 are about worshiping him properly. This guy has an ego problem.
He needs the energy. My whole point. It's something about worshiping him is giving him energy, and he's using it.
Sounds like he just wants a monopoly on the con man market.
That's a very matrixy interpretation, Kyle. I don't agree with it. I don't like it.